Proud of these guys and ladies here today. I know two of them I see are from the same hometown that I'm from, Frontenac, and words don't even describe how proud I am of you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, wait, we'll present you the proclamation and then probably get a picture.
It's the fourth one. That's it. Yeah.
Thank you guys. Thank you. Bruce, good to see you out here.
Mark, good to see
Yes,
you.
you too.
Well, that's a
Pretty neat.
pretty neat deal. I guess we'll move on. You have a chance to look over the previous meeting minutes. Any corrections?
Mr. Chairman, I move we accept the minutes from the previous meeting. Second.
Aye. Moving on, signing of the motions.
Yes, we had several motions from the last meeting to sign. The first motion is 20-221, that the consent agenda be approved. The next motion is 20-222, to rescind the Crawford County order put forth by the Crawford County Health Officer and the Crawford County Board of Health, passed on May 15th, 2020, that went into effect on May 18th, 2020 at 12 a.m. The next motion is 20-223, to open the public hearing on the Kansas Department of Commerce Small Cities CDBG-CB grant. And the last motion is 20-224, to close the public hearing on the Kansas Department of Commerce Small Cities CDBG-CB grant.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Donald.
Since we kind of started
Commissioners?
in a different order, I'm gonna leave the chip and seal till we get a chance to talk to Rebecca, if that's okay.
Sure.
So, Rebecca, you wanna kind of update us with what's going on?
All right, so on pretty sure everybody knows that the governor put forth a new disaster declaration. But with it, the executive order it was not pulled through with the disaster declaration. The executive order that limited mass gathering sizes and limited like essential, non-essential businesses. So as of Monday morning at 12:01 a.m. this Monday, that order expired. So Crawford County is not under any type of legal order at this time. And what I wanted to talk with the Board of Health about is adopting the Kansas Ad Astra reopening plan as our county plan, as our recommendation to the community, to businesses, schools, just citizens, the county at large, that they continue to follow that plan. Just adopting that as a recommendation. I don't know that we need a legal
Do you have
order.
a copy of that, Dawn?
It's on our website. It's on the county
Yeah,
website. Yeah. So, and I also have a copy here that I can, what we would have been in is phase 2. That's where we were.
All right. Rebecca,
So-
just for clarification,
Right.
as of Tuesday, there is nothing in place right
Right.
now.
Actually, Monday morning at 12:01 a.m. Yeah.
So-
which was a holiday. So, so Tuesday was the first
Yeah, I
business
think there
day.
was a
Yeah.
misconception out there that there was something in place,
No,
but
we had
Actually,
rescinded
yeah.
our order, and we were just going to follow the governor's order. So when her order expired, then that left Crawford County with no order. Now, there are executive orders from the governor in place. She did pull 10 through. They're different. They've been numbered differently than they had been in the past. But it was things around like the driver's license is expiring, and it was all centered around, I guess, economic or keeping things going. It's not centered around any type of gathering size or anything like that. So phase 2 is, basically was going to be going until June the 8th, I believe. Yep, June the 8th. So, I would just like to recommend to the community and the businesses, the schools, that they continue to follow this plan. I've had lots of calls just since, because we weren't open Monday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I've probably had 20 calls a day, but that's good. I'm fine with that. And all the businesses that I've talked to are planning to continue to follow this plan anyways. So I feel like, and the counties around us that are similar to us in numbers, and
yeah, what are they doing?
they're not most of them are not putting any legal orders in place. They're just recommending
Making
this plan.
recommendations.
Yeah, they're adopting this as their plan, and that's what they're going to recommend to people is the state plan. But since we haven't had a large outbreak, most of the counties around us, and then throughout the state that have few cases like we have, are not putting legal orders in place. So I feel like, we're in a really good spot. I really do want people to continue to follow the Ad Astra plan to reopen. And that's what we've been doing all along. We would go into phase 3 on June the 8th. So phase 2 right now is still the 15th. That's what we're recommending. We're still recommending social distancing, wearing masks if you're out in public and you're unable to maintain that social distance. Now, bars and nightclubs can be open if they choose to, and I've had a few call me, but they have the plans for social distancing just like the other businesses that had been able to open before. So, summer camps were not able to open in phase 2. Fairs, festivals, and parades and swimming pools that were public were not able to open, but they would be allowed to open if they chose to, because we wouldn't have a legal order in place. So it's important to remember that they
What
would be
about-
allowed to open.
Anything on ballparks, ball teams?
They can be allowed to open because we wouldn't have a legal order in place. So they would be allowed to, which they are allowed to practice anyways already. So I have received 2 plans from 2 softball leagues, and they have a great plan. They're not going to have players in the dugouts. They're not going to allow people to sit in the stands. They're going to require that parents bring their own chairs. So they're socially distancing as well. And that's why I feel like I think it's okay to just recommend this as the plan to follow, and people can use their judgment as to whether or not they want to be open. I've had a couple businesses call me and say, well, we're still waiting, and that's fine, you
Right.
know, that's their choice.
Yeah.
So,
And we
I think-
talked the other day, so they could still call you
Oh,
to
yeah.
get guidance and assistance of
Absolutely.
how to.
Which
best
I would
serve their
prefer they
customer.
did, because I mean, I like helping the businesses and working with them. I've not heard a bad plan. Everyone that calls me has a really good, robust plan. They've thought it all through, they've thought about it a lot. So when we go into phase 3, the recommendation would just be that gatherings, still try to minimize those to 45 or less. You know, still, of course, hand hygiene, coughing etiquette and sneezing etiquette. And then in phase 3, the non-essential travel is kind of dropped off. The travel is more open. So I would just suggest to people, if they know there's a hot spot, that I wouldn't travel there, you know? I mean,
Common sense will go a long ways with this.
pretty much. I just don't feel like you should have to order people to do the right thing. Especially, we don't have an outbreak right now. I mean, if everyone just chooses to do the right thing and protect each other, wearing the mask when they're going to be close to one another, staying apart, I think that's probably the easiest, best way to do it right now. We just don't have an outbreak right now. We're not having those issues, so that could change. But I have had questions from some people regarding, you know, what are our metrics going to be if we start see things picking up, especially in the fall. So KDHE has always had the 4 points to monitor. One is are we taxing our medical system, so like surge capacity or bed capacity, not just in general, but our critical care beds. That's something that we monitor all the time. I'm in constant contact with both hospitals. We have a call every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 7:30 where we discuss how many beds they have filled, their critical care beds. The other is, do we have the ability to test? We do. We have plenty of testing supplies. Turnaround time is like 24 hours, so it's been much quicker.
Come a long ways.
It has, yeah. We were like waiting a week at the beginning, so it's come a long ways. And then, of course, if our numbers of deaths start to rise, that would be an indicator that we may have to scale back or limit some things. And then also our ability to contact trace and isolate and quarantine, which we have quite a few, 8 epi nurses, so, you know, and then KDHE also will provide assistance if we would have a large outbreak, which we just have not had, and I'm thankful. So I do feel like that's how most of the counties in our position are moving forward. I'm comfortable with that, as long as we can come back and revisit if we start to have issues,
Right.
you know.
Well, I would agree with you. I meant the idea was to flatten the curve,
Yeah.
and that's been done, I assume, right?
Yeah. I mean, with Crawford County, today is, it's been a month since we've had a positive, so I would say, you know, we've done really well. The only thing I can say is that it has to be because people are doing the right thing.
Right, well,
They must not be traveling, you know. I mean, I've been on an HR call with the Pittsburgh Chamber of Commerce with the HR directors and the businesses that were on there. I couldn't believe the things they were doing. It was really good. It was very
And
robust.
that's part of the reason we haven't had one in so
Yeah,
long.
I mean, we have large plants. We have large manufacturing in
Sure.
Crawford County. So we have a meat packing plant. We have a lot of the same types of plants that are having issues even in Kansas and throughout the country. So they must be doing something correctly, you know. But I was impressed with all of their plans on bringing their people back full-time in-house. Some are working from home. So if it's okay with the Board of Health, I would just like for us to just adopt this as our county plan, keep it up on the website. It won't be a legal order, but we will have to monitor our metrics or our data. Some people call it the numbers, the data, the cases, metrics, all mean the same thing. And of course, if we would start to see an outbreak, that I would work one-on-one with KDHE to do whatever they would want us to do, you know, especially if we had an outbreak in a long-term care facility or a plant, like manufacturing, they would be involved. And they have been in the other counties. They're very involved in trying to control that.
So could you maybe talk about like going forward, what are the things we're gonna be looking at that would determine, like, if it
Right.
gets to a certain, if X happens, then we need to put orders
It would be
in
those
place?
4 things that I discussed. It would be those 4 things. There's no magic number. So it wouldn't be, okay, if we get 5 positives, then that's it. Like, we have to start closing down. It wouldn't be necessarily the number of positives. Because as we've seen, like, the state's been able to open up, even though we were still having positive cases in the state. Our numbers were still going up, but they weren't severely ill people. They weren't taxing the medical system. The number of deaths, it did go up a little, but it wasn't significantly rising. The contact tracing was still going on, and able to test and isolate and quarantine. So it would be those same 4 metrics that we're going to look at through this whole thing, however long it lasts. So it's not, there is no specific, a lot of people want that number or like a specific trigger point, but there isn't one. So it would depend case by case. You know, if you have someone who works in a large factory that's positive and then 3 days later there's 20 more positive, I mean, that could be an indicator that we might need to do something different. And I would just work with Dr. Norman and KDHE on, and of course the Board of Health on how to move forward. But if you have someone who just traveled to another state, came home and quarantined like they're supposed to do from certain states, and then became positive with no contacts, that would not be an indicator to tighten restrictions. So really it's going to be case by case and with the contact tracing, and that's why that's so important to help us determine which way to go, if that makes sense. But it's always going to be those 4 metrics. The death rate, the healthcare system's ability to handle it, our ability to test, and then our ability to trace and isolate and quarantine. So that's always how we're going to monitor if we need to change what we're doing in that, you know, with gatherings and travel and that kind of thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
As far as testing goes, have we heard from the state what that's looking like?
So we have plenty of testing supplies to do the nasopharyngeal swab, and like with the state, it's taking about 24 hours. I've noticed the private labs are taking a little bit longer, but they're way more inundated because they get tests from all over. Where KDHE lab just gets tests from mostly health departments within the state, and some private physicians, but we do not have a rapid test yet, so we don't have that availability here. It is available in some areas, but it's the harder hit areas that they're doing that. So also they are getting ready to onboard the blood test up at KDHE, so I'm just waiting. You know, that just takes a little time. What I would like to do is hopefully we can use our grant money by the fall for some sort of either rapid testing or the serum testing that's available at KDHE. We're just kind of waiting. But we're still testing. Anybody that has 2 symptoms can come into the health department. We can send to KDHE. They just have to have at least 2 symptoms out of all the symptoms.
Have you had several people being tested?
Yeah, we still have people being tested. The large portion of our tests recently have been, we had a nursing home that tested everyone, so that's like 300.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's good. I mean, you know, we had there was a positive. They didn't live in Crawford County and they hadn't worked for a long time, so really was not a risk per se for that facility. So that was great. So yeah, and some nursing homes are doing that. KDHE is still not recommending that the nursing homes test everyone because it's just one day in time. Like if the workers leave and go on vacation and come back or travel. So they're working with the Department of Aging and Disability, KDADS, to kind of come up with better screening recommendations, maybe more accurate, you know. So I don't think all the nursing homes are going to do that, but when we get those back, we are very busy still. Even though we have no positives, our epi nurses have to enter all of those into the EpiTrack system. So we get those by fax, so they are very busy every day just entering test results. I mean, we've been lucky they've been negative. I feel like we will get another positive. I do. Everyone feels that way, I think, in all the states and counties and municipalities, but I don't think it means that we have to shut everything down,
Right.
you know. I think it just depends on where they work, you know, who they've been around. there's a whole plethora of things that we
Sure.
ask them, so.
Okay.
So anyway, and then by June 22nd, of course, we would be in phase out, so. Anyway, that's my recommendation, that we just
So,
adopt
to
that.
clarify, your recommendation is to follow the Ad Astra
Mhm.
list of recommendations,
Yes,
and it is strictly recommendation.
yes, it's recommendations, yeah.
Okay.
Does anyone,
Anybody have any questions? Yeah, Blaze?
Currently, then, I mean, and even moving forward, there's not an order in
No.
place in any way.
no,
Dave, do you have anything?
Same thing, just
trying to figure out,
clarification on
right.
what's what and what's not, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no legal.
There's no
order.
legal order, but we're counting on people to do the right. Each business has their ability to control what
Yeah.
happens.
Well,
they
and
can-
everyone's planning to follow this anyways. I mean, and I
Right.
think it's a great plan, you know, I think the state has put forth everything that everyone needs to follow.
But even when, 3 weeks ago, we were looking at trying to get everything somewhat going, if they work with you and have a decent plan, then.
Right, yeah, yeah,
Then everything's allowed to
absolutely.
happen
And
in some
I'm willing to
capacity.
help anybody, yeah. Yeah. If
'Cause
they're-
right, I mean, I know we've got weddings and things like that people have been waiting for months,
Mhm.
and now they're gonna try to do it, but it'd be nice if they'd at least come up and make a plan with you and how they could reduce,
And I have
the
actually
threat.
had event facilities call me about
Right.
that exact issue.
so.
And a lot of those people, you know, what I've recommended is, you know, if they live in the same household together or families that they're around all the time, it's okay for them to be close together,
Yeah.
just like it was before. But if there's a lot of people from traveling outside that maybe they aren't around all the time, they just need to distance. Try not to be in groups of people you're not normally around. You know, if you're around your family or your coworkers all the time, and you're all used to each other, and you know you haven't been traveling, that's different. But when you get into a group of people that you're not usually around, you don't know where they've been, that's where you really need to socially distance or wear a mask. That's fine too. Wear a mask. You know, we're still recommending masks. So, yeah, common sense is.
It's key.
It really is, and I think that a lot of people have tried very hard this whole time, and I think they'll continue to do that. So,
Jim, is there anything we need to do? Do we need to?
Since I can't see everybody in the poll, I think we do at least need to make a motion to adopt the Ad Astra plan as our recommended plan going forward. And I think that's what we need to do, so if that's where we want to go, we just need a motion to adopt that.
Is there any concerns?
No, I do think it's, for us, it's important to have some type of recommendation, because we've gone back and forth with the rec commission, all these, so if we have a plan, then we'll follow that plan too, so kind of gives us a little footing, a little bit.
Right.
yeah, and I talked to some other schools, and they said the same thing, and cities. I was on a call with different municipalities, and they would like the recommendation from the county. It just helps them when they're trying to say, you know, we're trying to follow what the county's recommended. So,
It also helps with consistency.
Right.
within communities.
Yes.
Right.
as well, so-
Yeah.
so
Give some direction.
yeah.
All right. Is there any other questions?
No,
If not,
I'm not.
Mr. Chairman, I so move.
second.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and I have a couple more
You bet.
things. Sorry.
Don't be sorry.
It's okay. Okay, so I am part of a task force. It's Crawford County Recovery Task Force. Sean Nacarado from PSU has gotten it set up. There's different city personnel on it. Both chambers are on it, Girard and Pittsburgh. They're going to be inviting city managers from the other municipalities to the task force. And we don't know for sure what it's going to be called, but what we would like to do is have a central point where we can push out information. So since it seems like summer maybe is going to be better, hopefully, it's kind of what it's showing as it gets hotter. Hopefully things will stay calmer, but the fall is kind of worrisome to everyone when all the schools get back in. So what we're wanting to do is set up some messaging that can be pushed out to the entire county about, you know, the distancing, masks, just doing the right thing. But we want a central place, so what we were wondering is if we could use the county website to post like videos or, so I don't know, since Dawn is our county PIO, if I need to have them email those to you, or if they want to email them to me and I can email them to Brandon, or I can have them email them to Brandon. I just don't know the process for that.
I mean, I think a direct line between you and Brandon would probably
Okay.
be more
Okay.
efficient. And I
Sure.
think since he manages the website, I don't
Right.
want there to be
Yeah,
somehow
I want to make
drop
it
the ball.
simple for him because he's been great. Every
Yeah.
time I send him something, even at night, he posts it.
If you want to send it to both of us.
Yeah, I can CC
That,
both of
that
them.
might be better as well, to make sure we've got
Okay,
kind of separate chains going, to make sure we go.
so I can have him just
email.
email it to me and then I'll just forward it on to the two of you, just to make it simple. And you guys are okay with us doing that? And of course, then you'll see it, and if you think there's something we shouldn't put up, I don't think there will ever be anything like that, but I think it'll be good to have that central location for people. And so we're in the process of inviting others to the task force. One thing that I was really excited about was, you know, we did have some complaints with bar and grills, and I got in contact with Steve Bykrick. He works with all of them through their distribution, you know, and he was very helpful. I talked to him this morning, and he's gonna work on some messaging and things that they can have to hang up in their
Good.
establishments and visit with them, just to see how we could help them. I think they were all trying. It was just difficult, you know, to get people to kind of do what they were wanting them to do. Customers, that is. So anyway, I think that will be really, really helpful. I think that's it, unless there are questions or concerns.
I don't have any.
I'm good.
Okay, so I'll just plan on being here on Tuesday morning at 10, right?
Sounds
Okay.
good.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thanks, Rebecca.
Mike, did you have anything you'd like to add?
Just a mental health update, we have opened the ATC and are taking new consumers in there. We've pretty much gotten everybody in from Crawford County that we're waiting to get in, and starting to fan out a little bit from that, and looking more regional because the rates are lower for infection. So we'll start fanning out from there as we get referrals. We do start our Challenger program on Monday. So we've got several different spots we're operational on that, and all the staff are being properly trained in social distancing and cleaning, all that kind of stuff. So we've got a good plan there. And Discovery's been operational too now for about 2.5, 3 weeks. So things seem to be going well. We've opened up our lobbies, and we're starting to get a kind of a sense that people are beginning to prefer more the face-to-face thing, but we're doing social, we're doing masks and all those kind of things. There's still a lot of people that want to prefer the telehealth arrangement, but so we offer both of those at this point, and so it seems to be a good balance, so we can do both and keep people safe as we do it. So,
Good.
all right, any questions?
No?
All right.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thanks, Mike.
Rusty, you have anything?
How are we on
Jim?
the PPE?
I'm getting a few requests, but not like it was, sending them in the state, getting maybe half now. So, yeah, I'm still getting a few, but nothing like it was when we first started.
Good.
Okay, thank you.
Jim, you had something?
Yes. I thought I'd talk for just a second about the courthouse schedule. We had talked, I think, last Friday about ending the temperature screens. And I think we're okay with that.
Okay.
As far as a couple people I talked to, as far as the time, I had a request to go, to 8 to 4 for the next week or so. We're currently at 8 to 3:30. Just to give a little time at the end of the day to get things cleaned up and wrapped up. And then if that goes well for a week or so, we go back to full schedule. So if that's okay with
Okay, so
everybody,
8 to
I don't
4.
have to amend a couple signs, but 8 to 4.
And then we're not screening anymore, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And if that would change, we're going to be starting our programs back up, not full force, like we could still all through June do some over the phone, we're trying to bring people in though, but if you decide later that you need somebody, I could probably work it out to get one person to
Yeah,
come.
I think we'll be fine.
I
We'll
think
see.
so too.
You think
Yeah.
you're okay with that?
I think so.
Okay, but let me know.
I haven't seen a massive influx of, I know the end of the month usually is crazy, but
We've held steady, about 140, 150 people in each day. I think it's been wonderful to have a person there. We sure appreciate it.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you.
For employees as well as the customers coming in. But yeah, we'll get a bigger, once court starts up again, we'll get more, we'll have more
Right.
people in. But I think it's been going well, so yeah, I think we're ready to move on from that and go to 8 to 4 with the commissioners, okay?
Do we want to continue the login sheets kind of to keep kind of for tracing, possible tracing stuff? I'm just asking.
I
I
don't,
don't think you need to, because you need to remember too, that the definition of a contact is within 6 feet for 10 minutes.
Right.
So, and you've got your plexiglass up. So as long as, and you've got people spaced out in the
they've been
hallways.
following those recommendations. I mean,
Yeah,
they've,
so, they're not within 6 feet for 10 minutes. So I think you're fine to just go ahead and
I'll go ahead and grab those from, I've been told them I would, for lack of somebody else, kind of
Sure.
keeping those in case we do have a case that shows
Right.
up. I would keep them in my office.
locked, yeah, that's
And,
perfect.
and we probably should hold on to those for a while.
Probably just for 14 days, and then
Okay.
you can shred them, yeah.
Okay.
And there's no
Okay.
change at Pittsburgh. So at the Judicial Center, we still haven't had any updates on
okay,
what's happening there, so it will remain the same.
same, okay. And they're still doing the drive-through VIN inspection as of right now.
Drive-through VINs, yes.
Oh, sorry, I couldn't see the whole pole back there.
We're currently getting that today.
Okay,
We'll resume back to the lobby for VINs on Monday morning. We're going to start allowing some inmate visitations, one family at a time, to choose our employees to monitor the number of people in the lobby. We have a smaller lobby, so try to keep a handle on that.
okay, good.
I think we're still going to do self-checks for our employees coming in. Doesn't seem to be a big impact and as we come in the door. We're not recording it, they're just checking themselves. So
Sure.
I think we'll continue that for probably a couple more weeks.
All right, sounds
Okay.
perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
And
Thank
we are
you.
taking temperatures, the health department, all our staff are taking the temperatures still every day. We're just gonna keep doing that. And we're gonna be wearing masks when facing clients, so we'll have our masks on.
Good.
All right. Anything else with that discussion?
I have another meeting I have to go to.
You're more than
You're
welcome to
fine.
leave.
But I did want to publicly say thank you to the commissioners, because I see lots of emails from people who are really struggling. And I don't think it's said enough how great you guys have been through all of this. So everyone really with the county. So I just wanted to thank you again in
Oh.
public.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Rebecca.
For all your work.
All right, so I guess we'll back up to the chip and seal bids.
I've received 3 bids for chip and seal oil. I'm gonna grab this letter opener. And you want me to go ahead and open those 3 bids?
Yep.
Okay, I'll step up here, Toby. The first one I have is from Wright Asphalt. That's WRIGHT Asphalt, and I guess out of El Dorado, Kansas. They have a list of the specs on their product, but this is the CRS-TR, which has that 0.5% of the ground up tire rubber in the emulsion. And their bid is $1.87 per gallon that's delivered to any point in Crawford County. 2 free hours of unloading time. After that 2 hours, it's $80 an hour, which is sometimes fairly standard. I'm not sure. Yeah, those can be a little different between the different companies. The second bid is from Vance Brothers Asphalt, which is out of Kansas City, Missouri. Their product they're bidding is the CRS 1 HP, and it is at $1.97 a gallon. They have a freight charge of 13 cents a gallon. I have to kind of break down some of the, have somebody look at these and break down
Right, we'll do
the
that.
different charges possibly. And the last one we have is from Coastal Energy. They're out of Willow Springs, Missouri. They are bidding on a CRS 1 HP, and this is delivered actually at $1.93 a gallon. Then, after 2 hours, they have one pumping charge of $75, and then after 2 hours, they'll charge $75 an hour for the truck being. Then they have an extra charge they could if they are delivering a short load, less than 5,500 gallons. Those are the three bids received.
Mr. Chairman, I'd ask that we have the bids go to Alyssa, Jim, and Randy to review and come back and make a recommendation to the county.
Second.
All right. All right, Don, thank you.
All right.
All right, guess moving on to new business. Don?
It's not really business, but I just wanted to make sure I sent out a press release, I don't know, a week and a half ago, reminding people that June 1st, Monday, is the deadline for people to file for any type of office this year, unless they're filing as an independent, and they have until the day before the primary to August the 3rd to file. But it also is the last day for anybody to make any changes. If they're registered affiliated with a party, they can't make any party changes after June 1st. So if they're registered as a Republican, they won't be allowed to change that party affiliation or even become unaffiliated until after the primary election. And although people who are unaffiliated at that time can affiliate with a party at the polls on August the 4th and vote either one of those ballots, but they do have to fill out a document showing they're affiliating with either one of those parties that would be involved in the primary. But
Okay.
I just want to kind of make that announcement, but that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Jim? Tom?
Yes, we probably need to start thinking about hearing budget requests. Where are we at on that?
I sent out an email to all the department heads. We talked about it, Tuesday, that, well, I guess it was last Friday, we did
Right.
it Tuesday, starting to have those kind of work sessions between 9 and 10, starting on June the 9th.
Okay.
Be a week from next Tuesday. So I've sent those out and asked them to let me know. I kind of made up a schedule with one possibly at 9, another one at 9:20, and another one at 9:40 on each of those meeting dates. January or June the 9th, June the 12th, 16th, the 19th, and then as people let me know when they want to, what date they want to sign up for. I think Rebecca had indicated a date. She's supposed to send me the email. That's better than telling me in the hall or something like that. That way I have something to look back at and kind of set those things up. But as we get closer to that, I'll let you know. They should have a copy of their budget request to me by that time, so I'll be sure to have you aware of what's gonna happen June 9th by at least the Friday before, so you know who's gonna be in here and at what times, and then also
Okay.
have a copy of their budget request to look at prior to that, so. But yeah, we're getting there. We'll be right in the thick of it here in another month, so, anyway.
All right. Mr. Chairman, that's all I have under new business.
Okay, Jeremy?
I had met yesterday, Rusty had approached me with Mike Gordon, Mike Ryan with the Baker Fire District about getting a storm siren that we'd gotten donated to us from the city of Pittsburgh set up in Chicopee. And so we'd met yesterday with the city of Pittsburgh folks, and I think the plan going forward is to hook it up to the signal that the city of Pittsburgh puts out when they trigger all their sirens. They just push a single button and all of them go off simultaneous. And since Chicopee is basically in the proximity of Pittsburgh, they were hoping to get it hooked up on the same signal. It sounds like everything else is largely taken care of. Rusty, if you want to come up and talk about that.
Chris Jacobs, Crawford County Emergency Management. We was fortunate enough to get a siren donated to us from Pittsburgh. One of the ones they took down, they have theirs on like a 5-year rotation. They take them down, put new ones up, and they're still perfectly good working storm sirens. They donated that to us, and I talked with Mike Ryan, because I know we had talked about putting one over in the Chicopee area. So we decided there's an empty lot just north of the country club there that Pezzavento's own, and they are going to allow us to put it there. We're working with Evergy, partnering with them. They are donating the pole and setting the pole for us, running electric to it. All we have to do is hook it up at the box, and we are going to capture, like Jeremy said, Pittsburgh's radio signal. So when they set theirs off, Chicopee goes off. We hope to in the future to get more sirens and put one down in the Langdon Lane area and maybe over one by Oplus area, something like that. So, yeah, it's in the works. It should be going in the ground as soon as they can get a truck in there to do that, whenever that may be.
All right.
So,
Sounds good.
Cool, thanks, Rusty. That was all I had for new business.
Okay. A couple things. I'd like to request executive session, 15 minutes under non-elected personnel, council and 3 commissioners under evaluation process. And the other thing is, I guess, Monday morning at 9, I'll be meeting with Jayhawk Wind to kind of see what, through
Hmm.
Zoom to see what,
Good.
how the schedule's looking, so. I'll update you on that Friday, or Tuesday, as far as that goes. So, that's all I have for new. And we can do that at the end of the meeting, if you want. Old business, Don?
I have none today, sir.
Jim?
Yes. Handed out this morning, a couple of documents that we've talked about for a while. Sanitation services is the first one, and I have a larger bid packet than this. However, I wanted just to show you our current locations and what our trash service is. You could see we have several, we have about 10 different buildings in Pittsburgh and 5 in Girard. And I have finally was able to get the container size at each location, frequency of pickup. And then on the second page, you have who currently services the location and then the cost. So what we will do then, and I'll have this ready for Tuesday's meeting, will be a complete bid packet, which will have about 5 pages, including these 2 pages, that we would be able then to send out to the bidders and maybe have back by July 1st. So that's the plan. I will have it, hopefully mail it out to you today, and then we'll get that on for Tuesday's meeting. So, like I said, these are the locations. It's taken forever to get it tracked down, but at least now we have it.
Right.
So,
So this bid process, will you reach out to?
I'd say the local
Okay.
haulers. I'll send it out for sure to the local haulers.
Okay.
It'll be in the paper if anybody else wants to see it.
Okay.
But for the local haulers in county, we will mail it to them.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay? Second item is also a bid item. We've talked about it several times, the census mailer. We have basically an advertisement for a proposal, and then on the second page is the notice to bidders. What we'd like to have on this is a bid back in by Friday, June 19th, and we'll open the bids that day. So what we'd like to do is get this out for approval. We're at approximately 16,300 postcards. We have sample postcards that be available for the prospective bidder. They can also look through our address database if they need to put a bid in. So we have all the documentation we need ready. It'll just see what we end up with. And we have a couple local places in mind to send the bid out, and we'll also have, we'll put it out in the newspaper.
Okay.
Cool. So
Yep.
that's a complete package to print the postcard, postage, mailing by a third party. So that's what we're looking at. If it's okay, I'll go out and put this out for bid.
Yeah, no, this looks good. Thank you for doing this.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, you're welcome. That's everything I have.
Cool.
All right.
Thanks, Jim.
Tom?
No, sir, I have no old business.
Jeremy?
I maybe wanted to ask about, we talked a couple of times about the revamp of the personnel handbook and the pay schedule. Are we still in process of looking at those things, or has that been put on hold, or?
I'm so glad you brought that up because it was a note I have. If it didn't make it into this room, we would like to have a work session with our fiscal office,
Okay.
from Donna, and then we'll have on the phone representatives from BK for the sole purpose of the handbook and a salary classification. They've been told that's what we're looking for, so I think that's what we expect to be hearing when we have a work session. So just whenever we can get that on the docket, numbers and then see if we want to move forward. So
Perfect.
Yeah, set it up.
I don't have an agenda with you if you have anything scheduled. We'll have those budget
Right.
coming up, so.
I don't think currently anything for like work sessions, just all those
Okay,
future
So-
business items are.
try to set it for Tuesday or Friday.
Okay. Yeah, just let us know.
Yeah.
Friday at 9:30.
Works for me.
Yeah.
That should be fun.
Okay.
So 9:30 Friday.
I'm glad you brought that up, Jeremy. I had it on my mind somewhere.
Glad to help. That's all I had for old business.
Okay. The only thing I had is, Jim, you may be able to bring us the FEMA funds from last year.
Yes.
What's that? I mean, I know that varies from year to year, but what's the projected timeline of knowing anything from that?
Yeah, Rusty may know more than,
Okay,
I haven't heard a thing.
That's
about
fine.
The progress on last year's FEMA funds. I don't know. I know that they're backed up
right.
on what's happening now and for other disasters in the state.
That's what I figured, that as much as it widespread last year, it's,
Well, right. Normally by now we would have,
but it was so widespread.
we'd have, yes, any other disaster we would have had it.
So I guess that's the thing I'd like to discuss sometime. Since last year, we were stressed out, especially the rock roads with nonstop rain, and this
Right.
weather is not helping much at all. Trying to make a plan on what that looks like, because
Okay.
we keep filling holes with, emergency things, take up the money, and then our normal everyday business has kind of
Yes.
been messed up, so
Well, for Tuesday, maybe we'll have
We
Rusty
can-
and
we can figure that out.
Yeah.
Melissa come in and talk about that.
Okay,
They're more up to speed on it than I am.
okay, that's fine. I just,
Yeah.
something that I thought about for
Okay.
whatever reason right now. Okay, well, I guess I'll make a motion to go into executive session for 15 minutes under non-elected personnel's 3 commissioners of council under evaluations.
Second.
Hi.
Sir, did you need anything? Did you need anything? You hear the bids?
No, I just,
Okay, that's what I said. Thank you. Okay.
on the bids for, Vance and Coastal, was that the delivered price?
I think so. Well, let me look here. I think- No, I don't believe so. It says it looks like they have a pump charge of $75. So that would be, it looks like to me that would be applied to any load. Yeah, 3. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, it's delivered, but then they also have a pump charge on top of that. But otherwise, yeah, it's no freight unless they go over the 2 hours, sounds like, or they're doing the short load.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Well,
you guys had already said, yeah, I know Brandy likes your product, I think.
yeah, well, anymore, you gotta build it.
Yeah.
Years ago, when, Scout was in business, you could go out and get a load of asphalt.
Yeah.
They take all the good stuff out of it.
Yeah, well, they've got other things that they can sell somewhere else.
Yeah.
This is what's left,
But,
I wonder if, because the usage,
yeah.
a lot of the fuels have gone down, because that's gonna leave less of this. That probably makes the price of asphalt.
Well, the thing is, a lot of suppliers buy asphalt in the wintertime.
Yeah.
And
it's all happened before.
That's true,
It would,
yeah.
and
And the
now
price
it's
of
like
oil
going
going
down.
down, that's right. I mean, when I worked for John up there at
Yeah.
Kittles, he would be buying, you know, ahead of time oil shipments as we booked, you know, work for the
Yeah.
asphalt crew. You know, so he knew, yeah, I'm gonna need 5 loads of oil in order to do this job out here, and I got the bid on it, I'm gonna lock up my oil price now.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I can't imagine how that's turned that whole market on its head.
It has. It has.
Yeah.
Well,
It screwed up a lot of things,
Oh,
I tell you.
you know, this year, I've seen in years like.
Yeah, well, so, I mean, I run the elections here, and we're buying all kinds of stuff that we've never had to buy to try to make sure, you know, masks.
Yeah,
and-
yeah.
And little shields and, you know, things that we've never had to worry about. And like, luckily, there was some money in that federal, that CARES Act or
Yeah.
whatever for that. So we're gonna be able to get a little bit of money back from the state to help pay for some of those things, so, that's good, because I mean, otherwise I don't know where it come from, you know?
Right.
We'd be borrowing it from another part of our budget, and we don't have much of that.
Budgets keep going down.
Yeah,
Laying on
our
other things.
sales tax receipts are going down,
Yeah.
so yeah, stuff money we were dependent on is gonna be short anyway, probably. Well, it's good to see you,
Well,
man.
good to see you.
Had a good drive back out to El Dorado.
Well, you know, our product comes out of Tulsa,
Oh, yeah.
so,
Oh,
I used to live in Dodge and had health problems.
Oh, yeah.
I had to go to Wichita, so I moved to El Dorado because it's closer to Wichita.
oh, my uncle, my mom's brother, worked for Skelly for years. And he ran the refinery out of El Dorado
Yeah.
for several years. Judd O'Reilly was his name, and he was down in Tulsa for several years. He was a vice president down there with Skelly in the 50s and 60s and even into the 70s, you know, but that was, he loved that industry. He was, you know, chemical engineer.
Yeah.
He started out, you know, and got into that, and he, you know, a couple of times as he was getting older, and that was actually working and kind of knew what was going on. He talked about, you know, some of that, his experiences, you know, in the oil industry and stuff. It's a wild industry.
And, you know, it was strange, you know, you drive where all the oil wells are, and they were shut down.
Yeah, they're not pumping much if they can help it, because they, you know, well, they know it's gonna come back up
Yeah.
eventually. I mean, why pump it out at $30 a barrel when you can wait and get 50 or
Yeah.
60 or,
It's gonna be there.
yeah. Yeah, it's not going anywhere, but it's hard to wait, you know, you
Yeah.
gotta have income
Yeah.
sometimes too. Yeah. Got a bunch of buddies that, are out in the Ellenwood, Great Bend area. And my brother lived out there for several years, and I got to know some of the guys he played golf with and
Yeah.
stuff. They, you know, I'm sure they're hurting right now, you know.
Yeah.
They're gonna shut down probably for the most part. And hopefully they had some money in the bank that they can, kind of get them through.
Yeah.
They're a friendly banker.
This is gonna be my last year. I'm gonna hang out the end of this year.
Wow. So,
I'm 88, so.
it's probably about time, you know,
Yeah.
and take a break. Hopefully they haven't been working you too hard.
No, well, you know, this past year I haven't done much because my health hasn't been there, so.
good to see you in here.
Good to see you.
All right,
Take care.
all right, you do the same.
Okay.
Be careful getting home.
Will do. Thanks much.
That's all right, at least you won't be driving through the rain.
Right.
Yeah.
Looking at future business, June 2nd, Mr. Mac Young and Miss Tracy Harris presenting Community Corrections 2021 Comprehensive Plan and Behavioral Health Grant. June 5th, 2020, Mr. Mark Lehman, Crawford County Conservation District Chairman, presenting the 2021 Conservation District Budget. June 9th, 2020, Ms. Deborah Anthony and Mr. Roger Lomchek, Crawford County Active Transportation Board, addressing updates on to a resolution. Under announcement, the courthouse in Girard is open to the public from 8 to 4, starting next week. The motor vehicle office at the Judicial Center in Pittsburgh will remain closed, but residents may use the drop box at the security desk at the Judicial Center for motor vehicle and tax payments to be processed at the courthouse. The VIN inspection will be conducted at the lobby of the Sheriff's Department as usual, starting next week. Also, we got a work session Friday at 9:30 a.m. Who was that with? I didn't write that down.
Judith Buchanan, and then Randy Ryan,
Okay.
David.
All right, did you get all that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other business?
Mr. Chairman, if there's no further business, I'll move we adjourn.
Second.
Aye. Well, I guess we'll go check out the road real quick. I haven't been over.
Huh?
I haven't had much time to be over, and usually I drive around the